we have established an ideal that all the way from the dust particles that were commanded by God to come under the obedience of God. That's where it begins. The focus here that we want to look at is what am I using as my measurement to exact obedience from my students and etc. What is the measurement? What is the scale? And the Quran gives it to us. Allah and His Messenger. Allah and His Messenger. So that means I must become familiar with how to use that scale, how to draw benefit from that scale. There is a hadith of Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that says, "An-nasu kulluhum banu Adamu, wa Adama min turab." That all of humanity is from the father Adam, and Adam was from what we put here, turab, dust. Now, did Adam fall into any difficulty in obeying God's command? Huh? Yes, he did. He slipped. He was caused to slip. Now, same thing with us as well as our children. You know, because it speaks many times about the children of Adam. You see. And there's advice given to the children of Adam in the Quran, etc. But if we look at Adam, quote, as a nature, a functioning nature in a human being, that's all of us have this quality. All of us can slip. In the Quran, let's turn to the Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 37. If we look at it in 36 and 37, it says, Then did Satan make them slip from the garden and get them out of the state of felicity in which they had been. We said, Get you down, all of you people, with enmity between yourselves. On earth will be your dwelling place, and your means of existence, your means of livelihood for a period of time. Right? Now we know that this whole obedience was created and set by God. But we also know there's something in this created order that wants you to disobey God. And you may come in, well, is it that bad that we have to bring Satan into the picture? Yes, it is. It is that bad. You know, who is it that prompts disobedience? You know, the children are not born sinful. We know that for a fact. So, who is it and what is it that prompts disobedience and lack of discipline following law and order? But the source is what? Shaitan. Shaitan. Now, and his object is to cause you to disobey God to get you away from your reward. And all the way from you to the children. He wants the whole thing. He's not satisfied to get one. He's going to prove that all of it. Now that I'm thinking like this now as an educator, as a teacher, it makes me see something a little bit different. We just can't look at these habits and mannerisms and characters in the children as something that is, well, this is normal. These are the children. It's going to be this way. Says who? That's the question, ma'am. Says yes, ma'am.
Could you address how using the Quran can help non-Muslim students, like particularly at this school, to
we're gonna talk about that, inshallah.
They may feel they're not under any obligation to respect Islam, even interact with some.
Well, I was just talking with Sister Salih when we were talking about that during the lunch break. The very same thing. You know, it's our presentation of it. If we present it as this religion is a separate, circular type thing just for the Muslim children, then yes, you're going to receive that type of reaction. Islam has to be presented as the religion for humanity. Everybody. This ain't just for Muslims. You see? Otherwise, give Allah back your air. The air that's around your head right now. God made it. Allah, the God of the Quran. Give him back the air and go home. They would die. Don't drink the water. Don't eat the food. You, the teacher, have to be cognizant enough to know how to make the connection of this religion in its universal perspective. And we're not black Muslims. We're not Arabian Muslims. We're not Pakistani Muslims. We are Muslim. And it is a universal way of life. And Prophet Muhammad is called Rahmatul lil Alameen, a mercy to all worlds. Right? He's a messenger for everybody. Now, if you read that and you believe it, how you gonna prove it? That's the question now for you. How am I gonna prove this to the youth? You know,
especially to the non-Muslim children, because sometimes you have a hard time proving to the Muslim children, because the Muslim children will ask you, we'll teach the part about the Akira, the hereafter, and all that, and they say, well, what will happen? And then they'll say, well, how will you know? How will you know? You know, what form will you come back in? You know, how do you know that Allah is God if you can't see Him, if He has no form or body? How do you know that? The children are asking me this. Yes. My second and third grade children are asking me that. How do I prove that? And then I say, well, you know, and I'll have to say whatever. You know, hopefully some Quranic message will come through my mouth. But then the children will ask me, well, if He has no father or mother, then how did He exist? Mm-hmm. And then I'll talk about the surah that teaches on that. But then they'll say, well, everything in existence has a parent. Then how does this happen? And so then you'll have to prove that to the children, because they'll constantly ask me, well, how do you know that? You know, and if they can't, in their own minds, tangibly put their hands on it or touch it or feel it, it doesn't come within those five senses, then it's kind of hard to teach that to a Muslim child who has made an ounce of faith, and the non-Muslim child who's been told he's not a Muslim cannot see that at all, because he's come from a Christian family where they're dealing with the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost.
Yeah. So that whole scenario requires that we have to be armed or possess information. You see. Now, say you got those questions that you just mentioned, and you list those questions, and we discuss those questions. But they come up, right? And we research the Quran based on the level of the age. You know, that if we go from preschool to 8th grade, etc. You know, how are you going to address that? You know, and you discuss it. What did the Imam say on it? How did he address this? How did Faith address? How did Prophet Muhammad address these questions? Because these similar questions were asked by the ignorant Arabs. You see, at that time, you know, Pharaoh did it. I know no other God but me. You know, Abraham met with it with Nimrod. You know, well, look, Abraham said, my God give life and death. I give life and death too. You know, okay, my God bring the sun out of the east. You reverse the pattern. You make it come out of the west. And mind you, these people that he was talking to in his court were sun worshippers. They worshiped the sun as a god. So Abraham was really hitting at them, but he was doing it in a dignified way. He said that my God brings, if you want to translate it like that, my God that I worship bring the God that you worship out of the east. If your God's so independent, have him to come up out of the west. That's what it amounted to in terms of that thing. It was big dawah because it made people think. You see. So yes, there are a lot of questions that's going to relate to these inquisitive minds in terms of understanding the religious concepts and Muslim, etc., etc. But you have to prepare yourself. You just can't fake it or say, well, let me look it up and accept it. You have to be able to relate to certain things, you know. They say, well, you can't see God. Of course you can't see God, but His presence is everywhere. You know, can you see the cells in your body? You know, right now, can you see the cells? Can you see your heart working? What keeps your heart going?
It's obedience to Allah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, this you asking students, what keeps your heart breathing? And what stops it? Well, we know Buddha can, etc. But what if nothing that you know of, and you just stop breathing? What stops the heart? What keeps it going? You know, and why does it pump all the time? Why can't it take a rest? And if it does rest, how does it rest? Yes, ma'am.
I like to draw little, pre-K children. I like to draw their attention to the power of Allah in nature, like when it's raining, it's nap time or something. So, Allah's making it rain. You gotta look at it. Allah's giving the earth water. Just little things. I'll just point back to Allah. Look how the sun is shining today. Allah's making it dwell for us. Just.
That's the key. Keeping that presence there.
Yeah.
And then maybe teaching them that raindrop.
Yeah.
Taking an ayat from the Quran. There's an ayat in the Quran. I think it's in the 23rd chapter. I have to look it up, but it talks about how Allah sends down the rain in measurement and directed where it should go. Just one drop of water is sent down to visit one plant or one blade of grass. It knows exactly where it's going. It's been instructed to say, look, see those billions of grass right there? See the grain, the little piece of grass right there? That's the one I want you to hit. And it goes exactly there. And it falls on that grass, and that grass waits on you. That's how precise God is.
I know we had that discussion recently in our class. I have this one student, God is nowhere in her life. I mean, parental, it's not there. And she's always questioning, well, how do you know God's there? And so we just got into some basic scientific facts, things that we do know. The earth is tilted at a 23-degree angle. How does it stay that? How does it stay at 23 degrees? It has to be at 23 degrees. It can't be 1 degree less. It can't be 1 degree more. If it does, everything will be polar ice cap. Everything will shift. The sun is at 240,000 degrees. It has to be 245 degrees. We have to be a certain distance. Who's maintaining it? It's not a mistake.
Who's putting the fuel in it to keep it going?
Exactly. It's not a mistake. Somebody's in charge. It's not me.
Now, here's another point, too. You can't think outside of the reality that contains you. This is space, right?
That's right.
All right. Space is the reality that contains you. Now, I want you right now to think outside of space. Go as far as you can. Go to the farthest galaxy. Go into the black hole. Just keep going. Think outside of it. You can't. Now, Allah is not contained by anything, including the space. He's on the outside of it. Now, where's the outside of space? You can't even think of it. Well, how is this operating? His will is there. What is His will? His power. You see? So we have to be able to look at the creation and prove also what Allah has did here and is doing. You see? So when we say He has no beginning, no ending, He's not birth, He's not born, He has no father, mother, etc., you would go crazy trying to find God in the concepts that man's found. You see? Now, if God is all-knowing, which He is, He knows everything. Is it possible for one man to know everything? No. It's impossible to know everything and remember everything. Everybody's not a doctor, lawyer, engineer, scientist. this, that, and that. You don't have all those things. Each one of us have a particular or specific attribute. You see? So we have to speak to them in rational, academic, language, religious language, things that they can identify with immediately. You know, how many pores do you have in your body? Count them. And if you started counting them, how long would it take you to count them? Okay, who put them there? And why did he put them there?
So that we can,
Now I'm just asking a serious. I'm not asking you this. I'm just showing you methods. Hairs grow out of it. Why? You got a fingerprint that God gave you. Nobody's fingerprint is exact. Every human being that has been born on earth has a different fingerprint. Now, how many lines do you have in your print? And why were they put there? You know, these are questions. You know, here's a person, they want to question God, but they can't even question how many hairs they have on their head. And then go find out. You can cut a Z in it and parts and all that. But how many grains of strands of hair do you have on your head? And why was it put there?
But is that important as knowing about God?
Yes, it is, because he made your body.
That's what I'm saying. So some people don't question things that are of no importance to them. God is of importance. He's always talked about by more than one person. People don't sit around talking about it.
But see, here's the thing. I'm just saying things that we need to do to bring interest. Because one of the problems you find in the society, people have taken their own body for granted. Well, they're supposed to have this. Why? Says who? How come you don't have 3 or 4 hearts in your chest? You know, and that would draw interest into study too. Again, it's the ham. It's asking questions. You want to question, okay, how come God is? How come this? How come this? All right, before we get to that, let's talk about what God made. Let's ask some questions about that. And by questioning your own existence, it's going to bear witness. The creation itself is a witness. That's what Allah said. It's a witness to Allah. So if I want to ascertain something as a detective or policeman or attorney or something, I question the witness that were present. Right? Now, were you present when God created the heavens and the earth? Were you? No. All right, then let's question the heavens and the earth first, because they were around. Let's question their creation. Hey, son, why are you so hot? You know. And why do you take 8.5 minutes for your light to reach the earth? How come it can't reach here in a couple of seconds? And why are you 93 million miles away?
My son asked this question the other day, why is it so far away? You can still see it. And if you stood somewhere else, why is it that it has a different shape?
So these are questions that have been asked about the creation. Then that caused me now to do what? Study the creation. I said, man, ain't no man did this. Because ain't no man made, ain't no Jesus Christ built this. Son or no son. The point being what? Just like they're asking questions, when's the last time we asked a question? If we ain't asking no question, when the question come up, we can't give an answer. You know, your mind fumbling around trying to find out how to answer this. Yeah, But if you are asking questions all along, you know, but how long you been teaching? And you know these are regular questions. You know, now what's going to happen when Allah begin to send in the people in clusters and groves, as He said in the Quran? How are we going to teach it? If Sunday ta'aleem, you know, if so many people in here that we had to put speakers on the outside, you know, say 5,000 people showed up for whatever reason. Just, I want to be a Muslim. You know, all right. Say this. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Okay, I said that. Now what do I do? How many of us are prepared to aid in that education and etc.? Not only of the parents, aunts, uncles, grandfathers, grandmothers, etc., but their children too. It's going to happen. You know, so the preparation has to be made. But yes, I don't see the children as non-Muslim. If I take that attitude, then I've already defeated the ideal that every child is born Muslim. I've already defeated it. Just because they have some habits that they found their fathers doing, as the Quran says, it already answered that for it. You know, doesn't mean that I don't still present the information to them as Muslims. Now, that's one of the main reasons that we spent all that time yesterday on Salima, right? At Muslimun. The root word was Salima, and I said there are 8 forms of that root. And to go to all 8 of them and then form lecture so that the person will know what a Muslim is. And if you did that and did that research, you will find out no one can tell you they ain't a Muslim. Nobody. Well, do you know what a Muslim is? That would be my name. Do you know what a Muslim is? Well, you want to do this, do that. You know, you want to get their little 3-second answer because they don't know. And if they got the same definition, if you don't talk and you ain't researched the definition of no further than one who submits to do the will of Allah, and that's all we quote as a Muslim, then you're trapped. Can you see what I'm saying? You can't go any further with it. But if I go and I'm going to spend explaining over an 8-week period or 6-week period just on the word Muslim and the attributes of Muslims, or the attributes of peace, or the attributes of submission, or whatever, however I choose to reach it. And once I go through that, they're going to see many of the qualities right in there. Yes, ma'am.
My cousin gave me an old medical book years ago, and it gave the characteristics of a newborn baby. But the way they described the newborn baby's characteristics of cry, they spelled it A-L-A.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, and so I actually listen. Whenever I'm around a newborn baby, I try to remember to listen and see if I hear that, and I've heard it.
Yeah. They must have listened to one of them talks. No. I just gave a talk like that when I was showing that the baby, when it cries, it's crying their name. It cries their name, you know. And it's not maybe in the language that you comprehend. And I show that it's all the same cry. You understand? You can get a baby from every part of the world.
Yes.
Stick this one with a pen. Every one of them stick them with the same pen. And when you hear the cry, it will be the same language. Every one of them. Every one of them will cry the same language. Everybody. They start off speaking the same language. You know, and that's the cry for Allah, for their Lord. They just left God. You know, that's why I was looking, when I delivered my son, I said, he just arrived from heaven. He just arrived from God. God shaped him, formed him, did everything for him, and sent him. You know, and the first thing you do is call it a name and do it at that time. Yes, ma'am.
point and a good message to teach how we all are born Muslims because we have one pride.
That's right.
And one Allah.
That's right.
And it's our parents that make us learn Chinese.
Absolutely. That's it. You take that hadith and you use that concept. And there's so many commonalities that they had in his growth and development. You see. Then he began to take on cultural shapes in himself. You see. So, my question to you, young student, were you ever a baby? You know. See, one of the things is, like I said, you're very privileged to have all these minds and etc. And be happy for them questioning. You know, and challenge them. You know, challenge a question with a question. And then pretty soon, their own question will be answered by their own mind. You've seen that happen, right? Go back and forth. Because you do that in teaching. You don't want to give them the answer, right? But you ask them another question. You know, and then they answer that, and you ask them another question. Another thing that allows for you to see what level or how much room does the mind have to operate. You know, because they ask you to bring God here. You know, once you go get it, I need to see him, this, that, and the other. And you like the people of Moses. You know, Moses, he wanted to see God, not just the people. He wanted to see God. You know, he ended up getting knocked down. He fell into a swoon. You know, because it's impossible for the intellect to perceive God. He only reveals his attributes to you, and he reveals to you as much as he pleases and as much as you can hold. Yeah. So these two, they ask these questions, and they ask them in a challenging way, so you challenge their own mind. You know. Okay. Now back to this ayat here. And we'll conclude this. We swerve down the road. 37. Then learned Adam from his Lord words of inspiration. And his Lord turned towards him, for he is oft returning, most merciful. Now, what was it that corrected the disobedience of Adam, or the slippage of Adam? فَتَلَقَّى. This is the word there. فَتَلَقَّى آدَمَ مِنْ رَبِّهِ كَلِمَاتٍ فَتَابَ عَلَيْهِ إِنَّهُ هُوَ التَّوَّابُ الرَّحِيمُ. The word فَتَلَقَّى comes from the word لَقَّى. لَقَّى or لَقَّى, which means to meet something. To come to meet something. And it also deals with a type of learning called empirical knowledge. What is empirical learning, empirical knowledge? Yeah, but what?
Learning without being taught.
Okay, learning without being taught. But how you taught? You're taught. But how you taught?
Self-taught.
No, not so much self-taught. Empirical knowledge is learning through experience, learning by way of experience, experiencing something. You see? Experiencing, meeting with that. You see? Yes?
The Arabic that you just went on for,
La-ka-ya. La-ka-ya. And it's pronounced la-ka. Fata la-ka is the fifth form of the Arabic verb, meaning that the action comes back to you. It goes out and comes back. So, the point here, Adam learned kalimatan fataba alayh. Fatalaqa Adamu kalimatan fataba alayh. What is the kalima now? Huh? Can you hear you? Yeah. How do you say it? That's the shahadatain. Oh, that's the shahada. How do you say the kalimat? La ilaha illallah. So, by use of this word, فَتَلَقَّى آدَمُ مِنْ رَبِّهِ كَلِمَاتٍ. Adam learned what? La ilaha illallah. By which way now? Experience. Because we know in verse 31 of that same chapter, it says, وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا. And then Allah, taught Adam what? The nature, the names of everything. So now, here God taught him, then he was put on his work. Right? But he came out and had to meet with what? His knowledge had to be what? Tested and challenged. And in that, he missed the question, or missed a step, and he slipped. Right? He made a mistake. Right? So many of these children right now are doing what? They're making mistakes. Because they're learning from the influences of somebody whispering to them. Right? So they come to you disobedient, unruly, bad habits, and etc. You know there's not the way of God. So what do they have to do? They have to learn by way of experience. They have to meet. That's how they learn. So now there's a different teaching. A different teaching now. What am I pointing out here? Is that you got the word ilm and laqā here, right? Alima, which is to know. When you have allama, wa allama adama, it means to teach, right? To teach. But now here's another learning. Laqā. Yeah. This is another learning. But it's a learning by experience, right? Now, if a person learns by that experience, they learn something. How do you teach them about the experience? You know, see, this is one kind of teaching. This is another teaching, because they already have experienced something. Say they didn't know what fire was, and ha! All right. So now they don't got burnt. Now, because you could have said, now this is fire. This is this teaching. This is fire. Fire is hot. Fire will burn. Right? So now you're teaching this from this way. But I ain't, I've been taught, but I really don't know fire yet. Right? But when I say, fire hot, fire burn, so I met with what? Laqā. Now, so I come to you and I think I burned myself. When you say, that's good for you to keep that damn man out of the fire. Is that the teaching that we're going to give on that? No. You have to now look for this type of instruction to explain the experience that they just did. Alright, now I got these students here. They have now met with certain fires of jinn nature, etc., etc. Now I have to be articulate enough, perceptive enough, and etc. Now to teach them on what state they're in their behavior, in their disobedience, etc., etc. Without just using the old cliche. God doesn't like that, this doesn't like that. Fine, that's good. Why? Tell me why. Prove it to me. Give me an example. Make me see it. I'm not satisfied with what you're saying. Now you gotta become, I know they're not gonna be talking to me like that, but I'm just saying, you gotta imagine their mind is saying this. Because they're still gonna do the same thing. Yes, ma'am.
I can't distinguish by the time here. The first one was to know and to teach, and the third one up there, I don't know.
This one?
No, the first one, sort of the first one. The third one, is that the learning by experience?
Yes, that's empirical knowledge. These are words that we have to look at and examine. Like, what is epistemology? Epistemology. Epistemology. Huh? Epistemology is the study of the origin of knowledge, where knowledge begins, the birth of it. Because knowledge is born too. It just wasn't here all the time. Now, these terms I'm giving you are educational terms. These are terms that we should know and be able to expand on in our own thinking, for your own development, for your own research.
Would you start this motion?
Epistemology. The study of the origin and the beginning and the birth of knowledge. Now, if I'm a teacher and I'm teaching knowledge, right, where to begin? Or am I just to accept whatever they give me in the book and just teach it? Can I question it? Do I have the authority to question any of those books?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Everyone up there, a man wrote it, or a woman, or a group of people, right? Should I at least be able to question what was written to see if it fits, or do I just accept the fact that everything is right? Can I accept that? No, I can't accept it. In conclusion, Adam learned the idea of kalimatan fatabale. What did he learn? He learned about the oneness of God. La ilaha illallah. You see? Huwa tawwabur rahim. And he, Allah, is forgiving. Because Adam did what? Repented. You see? Now, I'm speaking to you on obedience from a level, from the Quran, for your mind, your thinking, so that when you approach the Quran and you look at these concepts of obedience, you'll be able to look at the subjects or the students that you are to deal with, and how I, as a teacher, I'm going to take the Quran to shape and mold their behavior. Because what is the ultimate goal you want? It's an Islamic student. That's your goal. We're not just here to make mathematicians and scientists and etc. You know, in this book here, where we talked about that in the book Focus on Education, you know, we asked the question here, what are you educating? And for what purpose? If you are educating a Muslim, then how do you educate it? And what are the stages of his education? To take it from Muslim to Mu'min to Muttaqi, to go on to what? The Mustaqim. Remember that lesson? Yeah. Okay. Now, all right. So any other questions? That's why I want to conclude that on there, because there's a lot that we can deal on it. But look at the movement of obedience in the Quran, and then also elicit or bring out of the Quran those people who disobeyed God. What were the consequences? What is the consequence of disobedience by the individual as well as the collective community or nations? Are there consequences?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So why not, you can take 10 minutes and deal with a topic on obedience, in your class, and use an example from what God has said from the Quran. But all the time, we're looking to build in them the attitude of submission and respect to God first. We don't want them fearing us to the point where they just afraid of us because we're a teacher so-and-so. We want them to be regardful and respectful of the nature that Allah has given them so that they can grow into the life of a decent person. So that's a way to approach the idea of obedience there. Now let's look at a couple other things here. Let's go. I guess you know I've been doing what we call in-flight adjustments. You know, we've been flying a plane and we're over water, things get bumpy, and we can't land. So we have been making in-flight adjustments, and now we can get back to another altitude on Quranic Arabic Teacher Research and Planning Workshop. Now one of the things, again, let's turn to page 9 in the workbook, Quranic Arabic Teacher Workbook Research and Planning. We look around here, we're not finished with that. We're still dealing with it. Now, here we're talking about steps for practicing Quranic Arabic. Now, what do we mean by that? Does it mean that I'm going to learn how to write? Yeah. Read? Yeah. All of that. But what is our objective? Our objective in this workshop here is to try and help equip you with tools, aspiration, desire, to use the Quran in everything. That's what I would love to see. That the Quran is first before you pick up any book. That it be first. And learning to think with the Quran and act with the Quran automatically. You know, just like your skills that you already have. You know, you see something, an emergency, or you see something that you need to take care of with the child, etc. Something automatically comes from you based on the training or the knowledge that you have and the resources that you pull from to address that, right? You know. Now, what if, with your resources that you already have, that you were able to do that also with the Quran? You know, without going home that night to research it. That it will come from you like breathing, like automatic. You know, you see a child fall, your automatic reflex is what? To pick them up. You see? All right, that's the physical body fall. What if you see the mind fall? How do you pick it up immediately? Because you have to be able to see that too. And the good teacher has perceptibility where they can already see where the child is going with what the question that they're asking. You already see it. You know, we do that automatically with our own children. You know, well, how come I can't go to the party? Well, you already know what can happen. You know all of the things. They don't think you know because you ain't hip no more. You just an old mama. You ain't hip to what's going on out here. You know, and my son used to say, Dad, that's what y'all did then. Yeah, and they're still doing the same thing. It ain't changed. You know, sex is still done the same way as it was done 20 years ago. You know, same way, it ain't changed. The same two tools, the same two instruments is the same. They look just the same. If you took a picture of one in 1970 or 1920 and put that picture up over here, they would look the same. Yes, that's them. Are you sure that's them? It is. Oh boy. I hope it's not too crazy illustration, but I'm just telling you that that's what's happening. So when I say here, or when we say here, steps for practicing Quranic Arabic, these are just some verses we selected, but there should be verses that you come across that you could use every day. You know, if I say to you the word shams, what is that?
Sun.
If I say to you qamar, what is that? Right. If I say to you the word najm, ma'un, water, sama, sky, ard, earth. I mean, these are things that you see every day. This is your vocabulary. Now, I mentioned this to you before sometime back, that most of you don't realize that you already have a very impressive Arabic vocabulary. Very impressive. Because you've been using it. Ramadan, right? You can identify with Ramadan. Suhoor. If I say, let me go make iftar, what is that? You see. Qiyam. Sajda. Musalla. What's the musalla? I mean, we can go on and on and on vocabulary. If I say to you right now, takbir. Assalamu alaikum. Alhamdulillah. Subhanallah. You're already using this vocabulary. You see? Now, why don't you look now to bring more vocabulary into your daily usage in the classroom? And that way you can practice Arabic. Instead of saying tree, you can say shajar. Instead of saying chair, you can say kursiyun. Instead of saying table, tawilatun. You see? Now, in the classroom of the kindergartners and the first grade, and et cetera, we should have on that door, babun. Door. Right? You know, up there. You can have it in the Arabic, and you can have it in the phonetics. And in time, take the phonetics away. Okay? Blackboard, lawkun. You know, kalamun. Mahadad. How long is it going to take you to say mahadad? Say it.
Mahadad.
What is this? Right, but it's kalam. So here's two words that you know. You don't have to have a professional Arabic teacher come in. These are things that you can get. Simple vocabulary words that you build upon every day. It's going to be good for you. It's going to be good for the children. You see. The person that knows the Arabic, say if Brother Raoul asked him to give a list of all the classroom language as much as possible. Kitab, we know, most of us know kitab is book. Column, warakatun, paper. You see. And it's interesting, you know, well, I won't go into that sign, but, you know, waraka is leaf. You know, it says Adam and his mate covered himself with leaves. You see, right? Warakatun from the same root word is paper. And we know that they used to call the pages in the book leaves of the book. You see, just connections like that. You know, finger. Usbu'a, another word for it is banana. Banana, because it looks like a banana. You know. But Quranic Arabic, these examples here now. Huwa alladhi ja'ala shamsu diya'un. It is he who has made the sun to be a shining glory. You see, we know who already. Alladhi, who ja'ala, made, shams, sun, diya'un, shining bright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words. 5 of them. Okay? 5 words. 5 of them. 5 words. Okay? 5 of them. I'm just trying to, it is not a big thing. You already know Qul Huwallahu Ahad, right? So that eliminates what? Huwa. You already know Shams, right? So that eliminates Shams, right? Right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So, say you don't know the other 3. They're there. Now it's down to 3 words. Alladhi. Right? and ja'ala and diya'un. Those three. All right. Now, once you know the little sentence here, I want to teach this. So, I say, right? And I have my sentence here, and I say, Huwa alladhi ja'ala shamsu, right? Diya'un. It is he who made the what? The shams. Practice writing. Instead of just saying it, oh, you can do it like this. This is your little Arabic class. Don't have to be a big major Arabic class and etc. You're just utilizing Quranic language, right? Okay. Excuse me a minute. All right. Now that we got that illustrated like that, so let's do this down here. That's called what? Al-Ard, the earth, right? You know. So now we know about the sun, Shams, and the earth. Building vocabulary. Say if we're talking about, and we were just saying, you know, like the sun, etc., etc., and it's 853 degrees. What is that? I used to know all space. 93 million miles away, 853,000 miles in diameter, so many million degrees hot, you know, etc., etc. So we're talking about the sun and the solar system, etc., etc., etc. All right. So instead of me just saying sun, I'm going to say Shams. We also know that the sun is also called what in Arabic? Shams. Right? And here the earth and how it affects, how the sun affects the earth as one of the planets. And it is which planet away from the sun? The third one away from the sun. The three-stage developments of man. Right? Now, so now I've said Arda and Shams. You know? And what is over the earth is as-sama'un, the sky, and the sun does shine from this. According to this ayat here that we're talking about as our theme, we're talking about this lesson in science. Allah said, "Huwa alladhi ja'ala shamsu diya'un," and He is. Now, who made the sun? Who is the he, the who are here? Okay, so we can all agree that Allah, Ja'ala. Let's look at this word. This is a verb that we're talking about here, students. It is a verb, and it means to make. And we can all agree that man ain't made the sun. He made the light bulb, you know, but he didn't make the electricity to make it come on. We know that Allah did that too, right? So now that we can agree on that, because these are your vocabulary words you're getting here, so I want to make sure you know them. You know, when we have the Arabic vocabulary test, Ja'ala, as-sama'a, al-arda, and shamsa. You see? Now, right now, what I'm doing with you is presenting a lesson plan. That's all I'm doing right now. And showing you also how you can improve your own Arabic. Yeah. What will it take? What will it take for, if say I can't read it, I don't know it as a, all right, find somebody that can read. Get Brother Raoul, get Imam Shuaib or whoever, and say, read this sentence for me right here. Put it on this tape. I hope everyone has a tape. You should. And say, all right, Huwa alladhi ja'ala shamsu diya'un. Right? You go and look up the words, get your little vocabulary together, etc., and boom, do your little lesson on that. One sentence, 5 words. You see? So if you're going to do 5 or 10 words or whatever for the vocabulary, put it into a type of a sentence that can be used, and build a Quranic vocabulary. Does this make sense? Okay. So and when we talk about this, we know that the sun shines bright. We know that it gives heat. We know that it regulates temperature. We know that it causes rain and it causes the spinning. All of the things that you will be doing in this particular lesson, if you're going to be doing a science lesson, it'll tell you. You know. And then once you do that, you've done a combination of things here. You've given the information. You've also given the English, which they already know what the sun is. So really, they ain't got to concentrate on learning how to spell sun, but Shamsu. So you are actually building a vocabulary. You know, same thing with wind. You know, all of these particular words are in the Quran. If we're going to deal with insects, get the insects from the Quran, the animals from the Quran, the mountains, etc., etc. You know, you can have you got mountains on the earth, Jabal, Jabal mountain. You know, rivers, Nahar. You know, all these other things. Tree, we talked about tree. What's the word for tree? Shajaratun. You know, trees. You know, but I'm just saying, there is enough vocabulary that I can almost guarantee you, if you took your 39 weeks of the school year and put together a nice vocabulary that you reinforce all the way through the year, your Arabic vocabulary will quadruple. Why? Because you have the blessing to be able not only to study it, but teach it. And go over it again and again and again. And if you're teaching it, it's going to affect you, and your students are going to come out more intelligent. So this is what we mean. I hope you put this in your research workbook here. This is what we mean by steps for practicing Quranic Arabic. Nahru. River. And Nahar. Rivers flowing underneath. You remember many places in the Quran, right? You know. Alright, now, here's another example. At 17 and 78. Very short one. See, I selected very small, tiny sentences. Not intimidating big ayat. So here is this one. Aqimis salata liduluki shams. Again, talking about the sun, right? Establish regular prayers at the sun's decline. I know we do mention prayer, right?
Yes.
Thank you. Is everybody here?
Yeah.
Okay.